I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Anti-capitalist violence on display. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Today in Frankfurt, Germany, thousands of protesters caused havoc as violence broke out because the European Central Bank's new headquarters is in that town. Close to 600 protesters were detained. The protesters in Frankfurt call themselves Blockupy, off the Occupy Wall Street movement here in the USA. Obviously, this is a blatant anti-free market play. These people are either communists or socialists. They want governments to run the economic show, and they want to punish wealthy people. In Europe, Greece is bankrupt because of their socialistic policies, with the EU actually funding that country now, and there's little hope of repayment. Spain and Italy, both in trouble economically as well. And it all comes back to the same thing. Private enterprise being strangled by big government spending and regulations. Entitlements, free stuff, giving people a means to live, giving it to them, rather than having them earn their way. Here in America, President Obama is sympathetic to the big government economic intrusion.
Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we had that allowed you to thrive. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen. The internet didn't get invented on its own. Government research created the internet, so then all the companies could make money off the internet.
Mr. Obama telling an audience in Virginia that his big government vision is the reason individuals succeed. Therefore, those individuals should be compelled to give a large portion of their assets back to the government. The good news is the crazy left-wing economic stuff has not really taken deep root here in the USA, at least not yet. We do have a quasi-socialistic senator in Elizabeth Warren, who, if Hillary Clinton goes down, could compete in the Democratic sweepstakes for president. Also have Senator Bernie Sanders, a socialist, who Vermont voters have elected 10 times. But the most frightening of all is this man, George Soros, billionaire who made huge money trading currencies, rooting for countries to fail. Soros has now taken his ill-gotten gains and is financing the most radical left-wing organizations in America. He is a shadow puppet master behind corrupt far-left groups like Media Matters. Soros has his tentacles into political organizations like the Center for American Progress, which has provided operatives for the Obama administration, some of whom are now going over to Hillary Clinton's campaign. Few Americans even know who Soros is, but the 84-year-old uber leftist is behind much of the political strife in this country. So let's be clear. When a bank opening in Frankfurt, Germany causes injury to nearly 100 police officers and millions of dollars worth of damage, there is a problem. We Americans have to wake up and counter the problem. Tomorrow, Bernie Goldberg will report on media people who are actually helping the radical left. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction. Joining us from Washington, Dr. Niall Gardner from the Heritage Foundation. Here in New York, Tamara Drought from Demos, a liberal think tank. Full disclosure, I think Mr. Soros gives your organization money as well, right?
Yes, through his foundation.
How much? How much do you guys get from him?
Less than $1 million.
Less than $1 million, yeah. Okay. And not all his donations are bad. I mean, he gives for charity some good things, and I don't think Demos is a terrible organization.
Thank you.
But some of the others are. Now, where am I making my mistake in analyzing the anti-capitalistic forces?
Well, I think in your setup, one thing you said really struck me, which was you made the claim that people want a handout rather than a means to make ends meet. And I think what's happening in Frankfurt, what happened to a lesser extent here, but especially in Europe, is people are really protesting the fact that they can't get a job. You know,
it depends what country you're in.
Well, in Spain, in Portugal,
right.
in Greece, and Italy.
Right.
And I think those countries are all sort of the backbone of the protests we're seeing.
But they all have one thing in common, and surely you know that. They're big entitlement societies. In the freer societies, like Germany, for example, all right, the unemployment rate's 4.7.
Well, you know,
UK, 5.6. Denmark.
Yeah.
Denmark, 6.2. So it seems to me that the more socialistic you are, Greece being the best example, the weaker the economy is for everyone. Am I wrong?
Well, you know, I would disagree by saying that those countries that have strong economies like Germany aren't robust with entitlements. The reality is Germany does a lot more to help workers than
nothing
we
like
do
Greece and Italy
compared to
and
America.
Spain.
I think they are definitely.
But our economy is the best in the world as far as driving the train. So what's the beef here? You know, our economy provides opportunity, which is why millions of people are trying to sneak in here.
And the reason why we're doing better is because we didn't pursue, we pursued austerity light when the recession happened. But these European countries really doubled down, and there's a lot of frustration.
It depends what country you're in. How do you see it, Dr. Gardner?
Very differently to your guest in New York there. I have to say that, you know, the European socialist project has been a huge big government disaster. And you certainly don't want that system over here in the United States. And I think that President Obama certainly has done his best to try and turn the United States into another version of the European Union. You don't want to have that kind of, you know, big government culture over here in America. The reason why the United States has been the most successful country and economy in the world for so long is because it is a free market capitalist nation.
But what about the resentment that the rich people, and this is documented in America, are making most of the gains economically, while the workers, their salaries under President Obama have gone down?
Well, you know, I think what is great about America is that if you're an entrepreneur, you can make money over here. You can create wealth. You can create a business. And unfortunately, I think that what you've seen in Europe is the destruction of the entrepreneurial spirit. And what you have seen is entire countries like Greece, for example, on the verge of bankruptcy. Also, you can add to that list Italy, Portugal, Spain, a whole host of European countries who have basically developed this sort of socialist-style big government system.
Well,
and it's highly destructive.
You know, I don't think big government economies work, and we can't ever point to one in history. That's my litmus test. Now, in Greece, the problem in Greece is that it's a giveaway society. You know that. It spends a massive amount of its tax dollars on entitlements, and no one will invest in Greece. There's no foreign money going in there because they don't trust the Greek banks. They don't trust the Greek government. Surely you understand that.
Well, I want to talk about the people, though, that live in Greece.
But in order to help the people, you have to have a business.
That's who's in the streets right now.
But you have, in order to help the Greek people, for example, there has to be an infrastructure where people will invest in the country, and nobody will.
Right. And exactly, I want to agree with something Niall said about the entrepreneurship that thrives here in America. And the reason why it thrives is because you may not want to admit it, but because we do have robust government that invests in infrastructure, power grids, schools, health.
I think it's the American spirit
you would never have that. It's both. It's hand in hand.
It's a self-reliant philosophy that we're getting away from. Mr. Gardner, I'm going to give you the last word on this.
Well, I would say, Bill, you know, that free markets capitalism work, economic freedom, is really the recipe for economic success on both sides of the Atlantic. We need more economic freedom here in America. We certainly need it in Europe as well.
All right. Very good debate, you guys. I appreciate you coming.